Good day everyone, welcome to another tutorial. In today's video, I'll be demonstrating how to create a remote desktop and to configure DNS server. I'll first start by creating the remote desktop. A remote desktop is essentially a feature on Windows Server 2008 that allows the user to connect to a computer in another location and interact with it as if it was a local desktop. So I'll first start by going into my server manager, and as you can see, our remote desktop has been disabled. So what you can do is go into the configure remote desktop option, and you're going to select the option allow connections from computers running any version of remote desktop. So I'll select that, and then I'll select OK. Then I'll select apply and OK. So now you can see that our remote desktop has been enabled. So now I'm going to go into my client machine. For this tutorial I'll be using the Windows Vista. I've already logged in. And you're going to go into the start menu, all programs, then accessories, and select the remote desktop connection. Now a pop-up box will appear asking you to enter the computer name. Now you can either enter the computer name or the IP address for that computer. I'll be adding in the IP address. That's to ensure that there are no mistakes when I'm trying to connect. I'll now press connect and type in my username and password. My username is administrator. And my password. I'll select OK. And now it's trying to establish a connection. Now as you can see, I've automatically been logged out of my Windows Server machine, and the image is now being displayed on my Windows Vista client machine. My Windows Server IP address is being displayed at the top, 192.168.0.1. So now this means that I don't have to go into my Windows Server machine to access its information. I can also go into my Windows Vista client. Now this is not just limited to my Windows Vista machine. It can also be used for any other client machine that is on the network. So now that that has been completed, I'll now be moving on to the installation and configuration of DNS. And basically DNS is basically a system that contains lookup tables that are used to translate domain names to their associative IP addresses. So what I'm going to do first is install the DNS server. I'll do this by going into the server manager, then go on roles, add roles, select next, and select the DNS server option. I'll click next now. And this is basically some introductory information on what DNS server is about. When you finish reading, you can click next. And now we'll install domain name server. Okay, so the installation was successful. I'll now close the window. close of this. And now you go into your start menu and select the DNS option. I'll just open my server PC and you'll see 4 options: the forward lookup zones, reverse lookup zones, conditional forwarders, and global logs. I'll start first with my reverse lookup zones. And we'll need to add a new zone. So you're going to need to right click and select new zone. A wizard will pop up where you'll be able to create your new zone. So I'll click next. And now you'll select your zone type. For this tutorial I'll be using the primary zone. So I'll continue by clicking next. And I'm going to select the option to all DNS servers running on domain controllers in this domain. I've already created my domain, KS Morris. So now I'll click next. I currently have no IPv6 addresses, so I'm going to select the IPv4 reverse lookup zone option and click next. I'm now going to type in the network ID to identify the reverse lookup zone. It will be 192.168.0. Now I'll select next. And here you'll select the type of dynamic updates you want to allow. For this tutorial I'll be using the allow both non-secure and secure dynamic updates. And I'll select next. This is basically a summary of what we have done. I'll click finish. And as you can see, my reverse lookup zone has been created and running. I'll now move on to my forward lookup zone. So I'll select that here. I'm going to expand the forward lookup zones. Then select my ksmorris.com domain name. And now what we're going to need to do is create a new host. So we're going to right click here, select the option new host, and type in a name. I'll simply put in test for this video. I'll now add my server IP address, which is 192.168.0.1, and I'm going to select the option create associated pointer record. Now I'll add the host, and now you can see the host record test.ksmorris.com was successfully created. I'll select OK and done. And as you can see, our host has been created. Now what we're going to need to do is create a new alias. So we're going to right click again and select the option new alias, and my alias name will be www, and my fully qualified domain name for the target host will be www.ksmorris.com. and now I'll select OK. So now my alias name has been created, and now what we're going to need to do is open a command prompt. So I'll open the start menu, open my command prompt, and now I'm just going to type in ns lookup space host name I just created, which is test. I'll press enter. Alright, so as you can see, our domain name is mapping to its associative IP address, which is the 192.168.0.1. And now I'm just going to do the same thing for the alias name. Look up space my domain name ksmorris.com. Now tap enter, and you'll see that our ksmorris.com is mapping to our 192.168.0.1 address. So everything seems to be working correctly, and that brings us to an end to our tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.